Do you know the name William Wilberforce? Do you know that is part of the reason why today slave trade is illegal? In 1807, that act was passed. So let's think about it for a second. One man can make an impact for the glory of God. Who was William Wilberforce? William Wilberforce was born in the 1700s into a pretty good family in terms of income and status. He ended up being very good friends with a man who was the Prime Minister of England. So it tells you a little bit about his world. William Wilberforce became a Christian later in life, so not as a child necessarily, but later in life. And he was influenced by people like John Wesley and Charles Wesley. Those brothers were influenced by a man named George Whitefield, right? So you have George Whitefield and you have the Wesley brothers, and then you have William Wilberforce. Wilberforce found out about the slave trade and he had to do something. Wilberforce went to school in Cambridge, which I've been to Cambridge. I've been to Wilberforce's, where they have a memorial for him at St. John's College. And it is amazing to think what one man can do. One man who had trials and tribulations and was sick a lot of the time. Wilberforce worked with a group of people, right? Having a team helps. And there's a movie about him called Amazing Grace. I want to encourage you. You might think that you're just one person. What can you do? Okay. Everybody should do what they can, where they are, to use the tools God has given them for His glory, to expand freedom and liberty to every person around them. Part of what I love about William Wilberforce's story is how he made it possible for people to be free and to flourish more freely. Like they could flourish because they were not slaves anymore. He was influenced by a man named John Newton, who you might have heard of, who wrote the song Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound That Saved a Wretch Like Me. I think that there's a lot to learn from Wilberforce's life, and we're going to be talking more about him. Eric Metaxas wrote a book about Wilberforce, and there's a lot more we can discuss. But remember, you have one life. Make the most of it. There's another man who made a famous quote, "Only one life, it will soon be past. Only what's done for Christ will last." There's work to be done. Let's see every child flourish, ultimately for the glory of God, because they've been made in His image. I'm excited to share more about Wilberforce. Stay tuned for our discussion on Amazing Grace, William Wilberforce's story. Have a blessed day. Subscribe for more.